أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي اشدد به أزري وأشركه في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا وصل على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم ربنا اغفر لنا وأنت خير الراحمين آمين الحمد لله رب العالمين. Inshallah, we will continue to join the Prophet Abraham in his journey. So it's a beautiful stages he is showing us. First, first he looked at the sky at night when the night covered him up, and he saw the stars, and said they can be the Lord. And when the daytime, the twilight started, daytime happened, the sun came out, he said, no. They went. They disappeared. They couldn't sustain their own existence. He said, no, they cannot be the Lord, because a thing, anything which cannot sustain its existence cannot be the Lord. I found that I'm discussing with quite serious people about this matter. We are confusing two fundamental matters. One is being created, the other one is being sustained. So sustained one's existence. We think that once a thing is created, it can sustain its existence. But this person was very serious, one of the serious person I knew in America. He couldn't make the distinction. I was surprised. And just before I came here, I was writing a reply to him saying that, look, what are you doing? You know, it seems to be so simple, but I understood that, no, it is not so simple, because we are not accustomed with this way of thinking. Because we compare the creation as we see it here in our relationship with the objects here. For example, here it is, the engineer has designed this machine and made it. Now the machine itself is sustaining its existence. Am I right or wrong? In our observation is our relationship, it seems to be, because we establish our relationship with, do you remember those of you who joined last year's, or I think the year before last year's, long discussions about God's absoluteness? If two trains goes or runs at the same speed, if two persons next to each other, what do they see? They don't move. They are not moving. They say, hi, how are you? Yes, they are sitting in the same room, but both of them are moving. So we have to realize that we and the objects together, but it's a serious subject. Yeah, very serious subject. We and the objects around us together journeying in time at the same time. So I see you are not changing, and you see I'm not changing. It means we are not moving, because we are on the same, if you like, spacecraft or spaceship. So although spaceship is taking both of us together, but we sit next to each other. What is the difference between spaceship and this Earth, globe of Earth? It's moving. It's going. It's not only spaceship goes straight. No, no. This Earth is crazy. Not crazy, but crazy. It doesn't only move. It just also turns around. But we're supposed to be thrown away because it's turning fast and also moving. But as far as I am and you are concerned, we are comfortable in the world. And how are you? As if I think that last week's Eric is the same Eric. Because we are being together. But in fact, in time, we are traveling together. What does traveling in time mean? Think about it. It's not a simple subject. It seems to be simple, but it's not a simple subject. What does traveling in time mean? What does it mean? What does time mean?
Things are changing.
Things are not changing.
In motion.
Things are in motion, but things are being given new existence with new qualities. We observe this phenomenon as time. So when you really carefully concentrate on it, you don't have to be a philosopher or physicist. It's a very common concept, but unfortunately, we take the concept of creation or creating something as if a thing happens at once. As if, God created the universe. Very simple. It is easy for a primary school student to say that. Or, I don't know, kindergarten student. Okay, God created us. I am a believer. I'm raised up as a Muslim or Christian, child. It is good for him if he is or she is 5 or 7 years old, but afterwards it doesn't work. But we may remain 6, 7 years old in our belief concepts, unfortunately. So what we have to pay attention that the things are being changed, things are being brought into existence in a new position with new qualities, similar but not exactly the same. Because of the order follows not with great breaks. Order slowly change so that we adapt ourselves. If you ask me, I was the same person as I am the same person as I was yesterday. If you ask me, I feel that. But if I am the same person as I was yesterday, so I am the same person as I was last year. But when they ask me, I used to say, last year I am 65, this year I'm 66. Why did you change your mind? I didn't change my mind. That's my reality. I have to realize I am created with a new existence, differently from last year's existence. It means I am created with a new existence, differently from yesterday's existence. Go further. An hour ago's existence. I was in a car an hour ago. Now it's different. So I am not sustaining my life. I am not sustaining my existence. We have to understand this. No one can sustain one's existence. If I could, there is no need to say that I am created, because I can sustain my existence means I can be independent. If I am independent, it means I can do anything I want because I independently exist. If I am independent, no worry. I am a creator. So there is no need to ask who created me if I say that I am independent, if I sustain my existence. So we have to understand this. I cannot sustain my existence. That is much more important than saying that I am created. Because I am created, although it is a right sentence, but it doesn't save me at all. It doesn't save me from falling into a trap of thinking that I am sustaining my own existence. It means I am independent. I can preserve my life, I can preserve my health, I can preserve my mind, whatever. I can preserve my relationship. It means I can preserve the others related to me. It means I am the sustainer of the universe. We don't realize that how a big claim it is, and absolutely false, unrealistic, illogical. But unfortunately, people speak mostly as if it is happening in this way, that we sustain our life. If we look at our daily language, of course, we see that. Why we don't really pay attention to sustaining one's life, rather than we speak about being created, or when we speak from God's perspective, we say God is creating everything. It's easy to say, although it is necessary, but it's easy to say. But to me, to say that, to conclude that God created everything, although it is a correct sentence, but it doesn't solve my problem. I have many human problems. It means my concerns. Who are going to sustain my being? Who are going to satisfy my expectations, my desires? And how am I going to explain my daily desires, my daily pursuits? I cannot. So the problem comes in saying that God created me and I have to struggle now in life. Yeah? And try to solve your problems by yourself. Of course, we are given free will. We have to attempt whatever is left to us. That is obvious. But at the same time, we have to know that our relationship with the world is horizontal. Traveling on the same spaceship together, as if our relationship is fixed. So there is no sustaining, the act of sustaining there. But if we realize that I am moving in a train and another person is moving in a train, although through the windows we communicate, but we are both moving and really fast. If you say, who is carrying us? What is this order? How this order came into existence? So if we reduce the observation of the creation at an horizontal level, as you and I now seeing each other and saying that, look, we're together now. You're there, I am there, you are there. As if your existence is fixed, my existence is fixed, and our existence is constant. But when we have a problem, we start shouting, we start complaining. You know, we are not aware that although I ask, I have free will to ask, I cannot create anything. I just ask. So if you like, pilot of this spaceship is not me. The pilot is different. So the whole system is in the hands of the one who owns the spaceship, not me. I am just in the spaceship moving up and down, back and forth. So,
I have a question on sustaining the existence. Because everything is a new creation at every moment. So what is the sustaining of what? Our existence?
So our existence is being sustained by the one who is creating, who is giving existence. It is not me. No one in the world says, I created myself. Everybody knows that we are coming out of a cell and we didn't know even. Now, how can I make myself within the cell? So it doesn't make sense. But that's easy. That's easy. What is to be noticed is different. We have to notice that, yes, I am being created, that's correct, but who's sustaining my existence? Me, myself? Or mostly what we do, we don't even think about it. We don't even think that, oh, my existence is being sustained by whom? We don't even question it. We say, I believe in God, I'm saved, so I am a good believer. So maybe follow some religious rules as well. So say, oh, I'm a good believer, and I'm a practicing Muslim or Christian, whatever. So sustaining means being sustained. It means every moment our existence is absolutely dependent on not me. Not me. Who is? Your existence also dependent on something else. The whole spaceship's existence depends on something else. The whole universe's existence every moment depends on something else. Because everything is subject to being brought into existence. But nothing in the universe, whole universe, can sustain its existence. Show me one thing. And anybody, maybe an ordinary person or a scientist, anybody, demonstrating to me that one atom sustained its existence from one moment into another. That this atom has the quality to sustain its existence for the second moment. I challenge this. Impossible. No one can show. No one. Ask the most notorious atheist, physicist, ask, show me any quality in any substance in the world which can sustain its existence from one moment into another. We are not talking about it's the obvious one. That is important because we have to pay attention to it. But the obvious one is anything can bring itself into existence. It is impossible. It is illogical. But sustainership, sustaining capacity, doesn't reveal itself as that much illogical, because we are practically used to seeing that our existence just being carried on by self. I am created and I'm carrying on my existence as if, but everybody knows that can't. Right? So neither the act of creation nor the act of sustaining can be attributed to anything within the whole universe, because nothing has this quality that can create or that can sustain. So Abraham is in the story, as narrated in the Quran, demonstrating this very Simply, at a very simple level. Look, something is setting, cannot sustain. If something cannot sustain its existence by itself, cannot be my Lord. It means I cannot say that it is the one who gave me existence, it is the one who gave me life, it is the one who sustains my life. Cannot say this, impossible. So Abraham established this through his observation of the skies. As he was in darkness, we studied last week, it means he was looking for the truth, he didn't have it. So it's like me, like you, we are looking for the truth, we didn't know. Don't say that I believe in God, I'm not looking. I think that much Abraham believed in God as well, if it is a real belief. So Abraham, as in the example, that showing me, demonstrating me that I have to go through the same stages. It is not an easy one. I have to go to through the same stages. So, okay, inshallah, we will study this verse. Who can read? Can anybody read Arabic?
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فلما رأى القمر بازغا قال هذا ربي فلما أفل قال لئن لم يهدني ربي لأكونن من القوم الضالين.
Okay. Let's see how it is translated in the English. Well, it may vary, but we can get a general picture of the meaning from the translation. Anyone? Okay.
Then, when he beheld the moon rising, he said, "This is my Lord." But when it went down, he said, "Indeed, if my Lord guide me not, I will most certainly become one of the people who go astray."
Now, who remembers the question I asked, or the problem I raised in the email to you? Don't you think that you remember? No, you didn't read it. Did you?
I did. I read it.
You read it?
It was the first time.
What was the? Sorry,
I don't remember.
you don't remember? Anybody? Anybody who remembers the? I said something in the email.
I think he said we are here searching for the Lord, and so when we are asking for guidance, who are we asking for? It seems like a contradiction, as in I'm asking to be guided, and yet I'm searching for the Lord. So who am I asking?
Mm-hmm. And then?
So shared a verse with us, which was this one.
Yeah, this one. Yeah.
And yeah, so it says that you look at an object, so Abraham, and which is us, we think that, okay, the moon is there, it's, giving us light, but then later when the moon sets, and you think it's your Lord, but then it goes down, you're like, oh, how can this object or act of creation be sustaining me? It itself went down, and so what is actually sustaining me is the question.
Yeah, what was the problem, if you like, I pointed out in the email? Anyone? No one read it? So I'm not going to say anything. No? Yes, do you remember something?
I was reading another book, and I also saw your email, and I remember from last week, but I remember there being issues about the difference between God and the Lord, and what that difference is, and then Lord's with the lowercase l as opposed to the Lord. But so almost idols instead of the Lord as a sustainer.
It was,
But this is also, I've been reading a separate book too, so.
I don't know.
When I saw your email, I thought of that discussion.
The email, I sent it not last week, but the week before. That was the subject, that what is the difference between God and Lord? But last week, to this week's email, somebody's cheating.
Yeah.
None of us.
Well, you won't get any credit out of it. You are cheating.
So this is good. It says, first of all, the story of Abraham in the Qur'an gives us a clue. Our Lord will guide us. That sounds promising to me, but the question still remains, how? In what ways? I'm searching for my Lord, and the narration says, your Lord will guide you. That sounds a bit puzzling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we have to read. Of course, we are, none of us, including myself, I don't know about you, but myself is not expert on the Quran. But we are bits and pieces and bits from here and there, and reading and comparing, but putting. But I personally, when I read, definitely I read with the critical mind. I never said, "Oh, this great scholar said so." Okay, does it make sense to me? This is my problem. I cannot imitate the greatest scholar. I cannot imitate. Does it make sense to me? Can I confirm it? If I cannot, I don't deny that this scholar is saying something wrong, but it doesn't make sense to me. So look for some other way of explaining the same subject. Same matter, looking at in another source, listen to another scholar or expert on the subject. But of course, if you start reading different here and there, compare, you start developing your critical mind and making sense of your own understanding, which satisfies yourself. You say, that's it, I got it. As far as I am concerned. And then, only then we will learn also from the story of Abraham, again, only then you can share with others. If you are not satisfied yourself, you shouldn't. So if you just heard from your parents or from your community that we are Muslims, we believe in God, and don't go out and say that we believe in God. God created us. Never say that, because the people read your mind through your language that you are just repeating what you have heard. It's not coming from your own conviction, that's called from your inside. It is because you are repeating a sloganic language, and everybody knows it. But not only you, the Muslims do that, the Christians do the same, Jews do the same, most of the people do the same. But we have to be convinced, because the one who studies the Quran can be convinced. But in other scriptures, not always. Mostly yes, but not always. There are minor, not very consistent ideas that we can see something crept into the theological structure. You can feel it if you are careful, but if you are used to reading critically. So when you read the Quran, we mostly are afraid of reading it critically. Why? Who am I that was going to read God's word critically? Huh? With a critical mind. No, for yourself. You are not criticizing God. You are criticizing your own prejudices, your own biases. Because when you read the text, although I think this is methodologically very important, if you don't read the text, even it is the Quran, with a critical mind, asking this question, what does it mean for me? It means you are reading the text and understanding it from or through your own biased, pre-established prejudices. It means you are not reading the Quran. You are repeating yourself. Although your eyes look at the Quran, your tongue repeats the sentence, the words, but you repeat your own prejudices. Pre-constructed, pre-acquired culture. But in this culture, you hear that God created us. It's great. But this is correct. I don't know. It's none of your business. It is correct or not. As far as you are concerned, what you are doing is nothing but repeating what you heard from others. You are not confirming it. Critical reading is frightening for scripture readers. Do you understand that? It is, how to say, epidemic. Universal epidemic. Not only it's epidemic among Muslims, it's among other religious tradition followers as well. It's epidemic. Critical reading should mean, in fact, what does it mean, or what do you tell me, speaking to the text now, what do you tell me now that I should learn from? And I should reconstruct myself, renew myself, reconfirm myself. If my previous belief is correct, okay, give me more evidence. I will strengthen my own belief if it is correct. If it is not, I will correct it. It means I am reading the text critically in order to criticize myself, my own understanding, my previous understanding. Unfortunately, when people question the meaning, the message of the text by reading critically, with a critical mind, they think that they are questioning the author. We should learn this. We are not questioning the author. Even it is not the Quran or the Bible. When you are reading a book which is written by a person, read it critically in order to check yourself what I understood from it, whether it makes sense to me or not. Maybe you misunderstood. That's your problem. Still, you have to check. And you say that as a result of your misunderstanding, you may come to the conclusion that the author said something wrong, although it was right. He was right. Still, it is necessary, because as long as your understanding is wrong, by not reading it critically doesn't make you right. Do you understand? Because your understanding is wrong anyways. What we are afraid of, what we are scared. I can say from my own experience, maybe previous experience, I am scared of challenging my previous life. If I come up with a different conclusion, my previous understanding wasn't like that. So I was wrong yesterday. This is the most devastating conclusion that one's ego doesn't want to face. You were wrong yesterday. Challenge. Correct yourself. But I have been praying for 5 years. I have been claiming that I am a Muslim, I am a believer. My belief was false, baseless. Okay? We said last week, if you remember, to hold the truth is not the point. To seek the truth is the point. That's very important. Because even today, I understood something. I reached a conclusion. This is true. I'm convinced about it. tomorrow I will realize that, it was lacking something, or was totally wrong. Okay, I am a searcher for the truth. That's what we are expected to be. No one, I'm repeating from last week's statement, no one on earth can ever claim that he is, or she, maybe she, but not he. So he is holding the truth, absolute truth. We have to know that. We have to accept that we need to improve ourselves. We need to search, keep searching until when? Graduate from the life. Yeah, keep searching. And today, I found that this is the truth, so I hold on to it. This is the truth. I hold on to it. Tomorrow I found, it was wrong. All right. Alhamdulillah, thank God. I realized that I'm making progress. But never give up being a researcher or searcher for the truth. Yeah. Never give up. Whatever you are, definitely will be better than yesterday. That is the perfection. That is the progress that we are asked. That's why we keep praying. We keep saying, maybe for some people, 40 times a day, please guide me to the straight path. If someone says, it is a repetition of last week's discussion, but it's beautiful. I am already in the right path. It means when he says Allahu Akbar, when he says, God, guide me to the straight path, it is hypocrisy. You already have it. Why do you say that? It contradicts. It contradicts. So please be careful. We are searchers. We are not claimers. For the moment, that is the truth. I am holding on to it. It is my truth. I confirm it. I am convinced about it. But it is not the end. It is not the absolute truth. I may change tomorrow. Open yourself. That openness is the way to read the text critically. Otherwise, if you say that I've got the truth and I'm done, and you keep repeating yourself and you never dare to read the text critically, because you may realize that your understanding was wrong or missing some dimensions. Yesterday, that is the fear we don't want to face. In reality, that is ego. Says, you are fine, you are fine, you are perfect, you are a believer, you are done. But believer doesn't mean in God only. But what atheists do the same thing. Atheists do the same thing. I am okay. I know. They are so ridiculous. They say there is no absolute truth. At the same time, they say to believe in God is absolutely wrong. Look at this logic. I don't know. They never use this. Whatever there is in the skull doesn't work. If you are true in your claim that there is no God or anything, the universe exists by itself, this is an absolute truth, the claim. So how can you say that we cannot hold an absolute truth? Because that is the fundamental backbone of philosophy. No one can claim to the absolute truth. This is a contradiction. But at least we don't say that. The believers say, okay, there is an absolute truth. I confirm the absolute truth. That is God, and I am the follower of absolute truth. Although it may be wrong, but at the same time, it doesn't have internal contradiction in the logic. But we question, we question, since I cannot claim the absolute truth, then I have to be open to critical reading for myself, not criticize the author, for myself. That is the most important thing we miss. That's why people prefer usually the shortcut. Whatever God says, whatever the prophet says is absolutely true. It is upon us to submit. Submit to what? Submit to what? To text. When you read the text, you understand something. Then you are submitting not to the text, but to yourself. If you are not critical towards yourself, you are repeating yourself, you are submitting yourself under the title of I submit to God. It is a false claim. Please wake up. It's not submitting yourself to God. It is submitting to yourself. Ego loves it. You know, they say in an allegorical way, Satan comes to the man, whispers to the man, not woman. So to the man and says, deny God. But he sees that this man is not going to deny God at all. He's convinced about it. Change the direction. You are absolutely on the right path. Carry on. But don't question anything. You got the truth. You are perfect. Carry on. And then you cannot read the text. Now start memorizing it. No? It is very dangerous. So, critical reading here. Somebody wanted to ask, do you still want to ask a question? You raised your hand.
Yeah. For someone to certain path, and then okay, for instance, a person like myself and probably many people in this class decide to come to this class thinking that this is a good path to take to gain the knowledge and the spiritual enlightenment that you may be looking for. At least that's my thought. So I think I need to have a certain confidence that this is something worthwhile for me to do in order for me to do it. So
We don't pass. In order to do what? So it is good for you to come to this class or to read the Qur'an, to read the Bible, to read the, I don't know, a person's or any scripture. It is good for you. That's correct. In order to do what? Be careful here. Why do you read it? Why do you come here?
well, in order to get to know my creator, what it is, how I should look at the world, like the most beneficial way for me to look at the world and my creator and creation.
That's what is going on in you, not in me.
Okay.
Now, I may speak or you may read, but what is going on in you, not in me. You don't know what is going on in me.
Right.
You hear my voice.
Right.
You hear my sentence, but it is you who is making sense of it, meaning of it. This is you, not me.
Of course.
Yeah. So your coming here is for you, not to imitate me or to imitate somebody.
Right.
So it's for your journey, if you like.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what you have to be critical to yourself. Ask question. This man says this. Does it make sense to me?
Right, of course. I mean, I think if I came and you said things that didn't make any sense to me, I would stop coming. Right.
Or reject it.
Right.
Raise your hand. You are speaking nonsense.
Right. I would get off of the path of going to this class. To me, it's like the things that I do in life are on a path. It's a choice I consider my choices to be my path, right? And so I feel I need to have a certain confidence in my choices, and I do.
Yeah.
Not saying that it has some absolute truth, but that it sits with me right now. It's a thing, but you're posing that you should not. I mean, I don't want to mix your words, but that in a sense you should not feel like you've arrived at something.
Be
Conclusive,
critical
which
to
I
yourself.
get
What I'm saying is very simple.
Yeah.
Very simple. Having confidence doesn't mean that you should imitate anybody,
Right.
because you cannot.
Right,
Look, you cannot. Not because you shouldn't. You cannot. That's what I am trying to tell or explain this, because we don't know this subject. When we read the Quran, Muslims, for example, they think that they are following the Quran. They cannot. They can only make sense of it as much as they understand. That's their conclusion, what they understand. What the Quran says may be completely different from what they understood from it. But you don't know the mind of God, the Creator, speaking in the Quran. You read it if it makes sense to you. You say, I'm benefiting from this source. So that is confidence that, it's giving you something. It's giving you something. So it helps you, it helps you develop your understanding of your own reality. Yeah, your own reality. So as long as it is consistent for you, the source is consistent for you, you keep reading in order to consolidate your consistency within your own conclusion. So if you see that what we are talking here is nonsense, contradictory, full of biases, and just repeating what we have been hearing from the babyhood, not childhood, babyhood, and repeat the same thing, give charity to, but of course it's important. But I'm not ridiculing this. So be nice to your neighbor, etc. Everybody keeps hearing these kind of things. So if you hear the same thing here, you say, I heard this so many times, bye-bye. Don't come. Or say that, please, man, you come here and just waste our time. Be frank. Of course, you cannot do you may not be able to do others, but do to me. I'm open. Say you are speaking nonsense. I would like to hear that. Oh, I'm nonsense? I take notice of it. But mostly, what the people oppose, what we say in this class, they say, because I have never heard of this approach before. It contradicts what I heard before. Or it contradicts what I read in a text, because he doesn't realize that it is not the text, it is his understanding contradicts what they hear. So they have to be critical towards his previous understanding, as well as they have to be even more critical towards what they hear now. So be critical in both cases. Be critical within yourself. When you read this verse, if you are not critical towards the verse, how would you benefit from it? You would just get the idea, information, and take this information into the mold of your previous understanding, give the shape to it, and say, Prophet Abraham was a great man. He saw the moon, and he said, you cannot be, when it sat down, it cannot be my Lord. Of course, only if my Lord guides me, I will be guided. Otherwise, there is no way for me to guide. mashallah, he believes in God. Yeah. But you don't see the contradiction in it. If you are looking for the Lord, and at the end saying that, look, if my Lord doesn't guide me, I wouldn't find the truth. Look, what are you talking about, man? If you believe in your Lord, that if Lord is going to guide you, why are you looking for the Lord? Yeah. So, shall we throw this verse into the trash can? No. No, why not? Abraham, we have to see that there is at least seemingly a contradiction. Don't pretend to have understood it. You didn't. If you have not seen the contradiction, it means you did not understand nothing from the verse because you didn't pay attention to it. It meant nothing to you. Nothing. You didn't add anything to your understanding at all. You just repeat your previous, I wouldn't say belief, I would say your previous culture. This culture happened to be Islamic. It could have happened to be, in some of the people around us, Christian. Doesn't matter. You are not doing anything there. We are wasting your time. So you have to see the contradiction. And then look for the answer. I said, this seems to be contradiction. I didn't understand. Take it, put it in a pocket, say, what does it mean? What could have mean that should make sense to me? It should make sense to me if it is a correct guidance. But if it doesn't make sense to you, leave it, because it doesn't make sense to you. Don't pretend to have believed in it. Don't pretend to have believed in it. But you say, I don't know, I didn't understand. It seemed to be contradictory. Okay, keep it there. Then keep reading. When you read, because the question is there, this question should bother you. You know, when you go to sleep, you cannot sleep because, you know, this book seems to be, you are in trouble. Tells me the very important message and helps me a lot, but this piece seems to be contradictory. Oh, not that, what shall I do? Shall I ask other people? Or shall I really keep this question in my mind, be aware of it? And then you will understand that what Abraham means by his Lord, the one, whatever it is, created him with the quality to look for the truth, to judge the setting things cannot be the Lord. There must be a Lord. Where is it? Where is it? How can I find it? The moon also set. Couldn't sustain its existence, its brightness, its overwhelming dominance over the earth or our life. Is not sustaining itself. It disappears. So I cannot really assign him as to be my Lord. But looking, be careful. We studied this 2 or 3 weeks ago. Looking for the Lord is intrinsic into human being. Yeah. For example, you have been somewhere, okay, and you found that food is ready. I'm looking forward to it. And this guy is together. Aren't you hungry? Aren't you hungry? Hungry? You are not? I am. So I have been eating everything since last night. So I'm really looking forward to it. So I went home. Inshallah, hopefully, he's my guest. So I went home and food is ready. I don't know who prepared the food, but it is intrinsic in me to ask the question, who prepared the food? Who knew that I needed exactly I wanted? Who's this guy? Maybe the fridge, because the food is coming out of the fridge. You open the fridge, and when the power is off, fridge doesn't help you. It's not the one who's preparing the food. And you shake it, it's stupid. You put from here to there, it goes there. It doesn't have a will, anything, no sense that it will recognize you. Keep asking, who is my Lord? So we studied a couple of, maybe 3 weeks ago, Abrahamic reasoning is based on human nature, fitra in Arabic, in the Qur'an. It means the way we are molded, the way we are constructed. Within this construction, everybody, it is an a priori conclusion. It is an corollary of human nature to ask for the cause of anything which occurs. Right? If something happens, if someone is making noise, who's making noise? Who's making noise? Well, we don't say it happened by itself, natural, accidental. You know, no. There must be a reason. There must be a cause. There must be a cause. So, looking at its own, his Abrahamic example said in our previous verses that we studied, listen to your nature. Listen to your innate qualities within yourself as you are made. Well, even you are an atheist, you don't believe in God. Okay, I have some qualities. Take into consideration, because you cannot get out of your skin. You cannot deny your own reality. You have to be consistent within your being, within your own being. That being, that quality forces me from inside, search for the cause. So when Abraham says his, he said, indeed, if my Lord guide me not, what he meant here in this phrase, Lord, I don't know who it is, but whoever made me with this quality, right? But I have to identify it. I have to understand who this one who made me is. Who is it? Who is it? We don't know. Now he's searching. He's searching. To search is human. To question is human. Yeah, to investigate is human. To say that I am done and I believed is not human. To search is human. Always make it better. In Islamic literature, there are different vocabulary employed in order to make the distinction between believing God, knowing God, being aware of who God is, having a loving relationship with this God. For those people, al-iman billah, al-ma'rifah of Allah, ma'rifatullah, muhabbatullah, and there are even more degrees of realization. So first you look at the universe, they say, they seem to be made. That is, okay, there is a maker who made this universe. That is believing the creator. But this is just the first stage. We studied last week as starting the engine of the car. Now the car is working. Is it moving? No. Let's move the car now. It's a car. So when you say there is a creator, you have to identify this creator. Who is it? Yes, there is a creator. Who is it? Not necessarily that I have to see and shake hands with. No. You have to be aware which kind of creator he is. So you have to come to know the creator, having a knowledge of it, recognition of it, not only confirming its existence, but recognizing his qualities, so that you will have a relationship between you and him, between you and the creator, through his qualities. That is moving the car now. You are going and you are really developing, approaching, but never approachable destination, but getting closer to the destination. Now you are getting to know. As you get to know, it is expected. If you don't believe in, really have reason to believe in God, if you don't really know, it means really become acquainted with its qualities, you cannot love him. So those people who say, God is loving God, it says, oh, God is loving God, is love is beautiful. It's a beautiful rhetoric, but empty. It must be the result of belief in God, one process, getting to know who God is, and then becoming acquainted with it, and then you understand that he is a loving friend, loving protector, loving provider, loving creator. So he deserves to be loved. Only then you can establish a loving relationship. Otherwise, it is just a claim, it is just rhetoric. So we should go through it. Now, in this class that we have been having, we try to establish on the second stage, which is called Ma'rifatullah, getting to know who our Creator is, so that you will develop, God willing, we will all develop having a loving relationship with God, that we know who he is. Yeah, Abraham is at the very first. When it said, if only my God, my Lord guides me, if my Lord doesn't guide me, I would never find who my Lord is. This is the first stage, that yes, I am made with certain qualities, and yes, I am created by something, but I want to get to know him. I want to get to know him. So I have to introduce myself to him, and I have to become acquainted with him. That's the desire now. He's driving the car. That's why he's looking. Can it be? Because he's looking for what? A Lord. Do you notice that? A Lord. Because this concept of looking for a Lord is instinctive. Some people find the Lord, the universe itself. Good for them, not for me. Because I'm looking for a Lord who gave existence to me within the context of the universe. If I am asking the question, who made this? Anything, who made the sky? It means I am asking the question, who made the universe? This materialistic mind is so, I don't know, narrow and dogmatic to me, but not an insult. Dogmatic, although they say everything is interconnected, and they say the parts of the universe, pieces of the universe, is given existence by the universe itself. Natural means this. It happened by itself. It means universe happened by itself. So, who made the universe? It happened by itself. Can you show me anything that may make itself? No sign in the things that they can really make themselves. How can you say that? So we have to question. Abraham is being honest. Honest to what? Honest to his religion? No, he doesn't have a religion now yet. He's just looking for the Lord. He is a beginner. He is honest to his own nature, his own being. So his being says, you are made by someone, something, but who's this man? What is this one? Who made me? Who made me? So it means he's so realistic, even maybe this one, let me try, let me see. Very realistic. So looks at the stars, now he is looking at the moon. Moon set. It means could not sustain its existence. If it cannot sustain its own existence, how can it sustain my existence? For God's sake, it doesn't make sense. Leave it. But very, very logically consistent and not human nature confirmed. Now, shall we go further? That's enough for today. Maybe. What is it? Question?
Wanted to clarify on the guiding part. So let's say you give the analogy of when you're driving the car, you're searching for the Lord. So in this process, you're asking to be guided?
Yeah.
In this process?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the guiding part is important. When you listen to your instinctive qualities, you lose them. Sorry, you. I think I'm tired. You use them. All right. So as you are driving, what are you using? Your instinctive qualities given to you by the one you don't know who is or what it is, with these qualities. I keep saying this. I think some of you are aware of the importance of this phrase that I use. Be honest means be consistent within yourself. Don't say I am a believer, I am a non-believer. These are later on developments. Are you consistent within yourself when you say that I am a believer, or just really taking for granted that it seems to be correct and carry on? Culture, your tradition, or a community life. That is not belief, that is not consistency, that is not human honesty. We have to be consistent within ourselves, questioning continuously. What I learned today, does it make sense? Can I confirm it? Yeah. Don't say that your confirmation or your denial, your disagreement has anything to do with me when we speak. I may mean something else. You might have misunderstood me. I might have not able to express myself properly, whatever. But this is your problem. This is your conclusion. You say that this, whatever this man says doesn't make sense to me. That's your conclusion. Don't say this man is stupid, because you don't know what I'm doing. So when you read the text, that was the point. When you read the text, when you read the scripture, don't be afraid of reading it critically, because that is your conclusion. It doesn't mean that, for example, when we studied this verse, what we said at the beginning, this verse is contradictory, because it says two contradictory elements in it. So did we say that whoever said this verse, I mean, by definition, it says, I am the word of God, it means God is stupid, God is saying something contradictory? No. According to my understanding, this verse sounds contradictory. My understanding, that's me. Nothing to do with the author. When you read a book, you say, I don't agree with the author, but it doesn't mean that absolutely the author is absolutely wrong and I am absolutely right. It doesn't mean that. Only we have to be careful. Whatever we concluded about anything, that is our conclusion. Don't reflect your conclusion on the author, because it may be you that you didn't understand. That's why you have to be comfortable in your conclusion. What happened historically in Christian theology or Catholic theology? The Catholic theology never allows you to read the text. No. So some Protestant side of the Christian theology says you read it, and Muslims also say you can read the verse, the Quran, but be careful. Don't try to understand it logically. Why? Because among the public, generally people misunderstand when they don't understand something, and what something seems to be not consistent within itself in the text, they reflect it on the book, said that this book is trash. Never say that this book is trash. You say that I don't agree with this book. Don't be judgmental towards the book. They don't make this distinction. That's why the people, the scholars, were afraid of the common people to make a judgment about the Quran. They said, no, you don't understand. So only the scholars understand. So you don't try to understand it. Just only what the scholars tell you. Just accept it. That's Catholicism, although they ridicule Catholics. So, but they do the same thing. Yes, usually. But you people are intellectual people. I trust you. You can make the distinction between your own conclusion and reflecting the conclusion and making a judgment about the text. So never make a judgment about the text. Say, it didn't make sense to me. It is a problem. It is a question for me. I will keep it and look for the answer. If I find it, find it. If I don't find it, I don't have it. Pretend to have it. It is impossible. You don't have any money in your pocket, and you think that you have one, and don't be afraid of losing this money. It's not there anyway. Don't be afraid of it. So don't pretend. This pretension prevents you from investigating. You don't make progress. But if you have the question, if you see somebody or some book or any source that this person may give the answer to this question, so you look at the source carefully in an investigative way. Is there an answer to this? Does it give me the right question? So you will be a researcher. You will be awake. Otherwise, if you don't really question it, you just sleep. Sleep on your prejudices. Previous. It doesn't help you make progress. That's what today's discussion was around. I said this is an apparently contradictory, but we have to understand the text within its whole context, and we have to know that, we have to remember, actually we studied that Abraham was following his, in Arabic, fitra. It means the way he is given all the qualities, human qualities. He started the engine with the intention to use his qualities, which is within himself. Can you get somewhere else? You can't. You have to use yourself.
So how is he asking to be guided in this regard?
Yeah, because your nature, don't you want to find the truth if you have the question, true answer to your question? That is it. You are looking for the right answer to your question, because the ability to ask the question, ability to look for the answer to your question is in you. You are hardwired with it. So whoever made you with this quality, you cannot get out of it. But only you can ignore yourself, you can contradict yourself under the pretext of, I am a believer, I am convinced. It is hypocrisy. You are cheating yourself. If you understand this point today, Ragda, did you understand? Ragda? Did you? MashaAllah. Where is she from? Where is she from?
Say it and say it proudly.
So MashaAllah. So don't say, so that people may misunderstand. So that is a very important point. And this verse, I wanted to use this as a criterion. This is Abrahamic. This is beautiful. Abraham is the man who is a clear-minded and a very brave man. He couldn't convince himself to believe in the resurrection. Yeah. But there must be something, but how? Let me make sure. In the story narrated in the Quran, he argued with God, saying that, come on, show me how you resurrect the dead. He is the one. He's so brave. He is human. He uses his human qualities. And God says, don't you believe? Look, I know that I feel it, that you can do it because you made me, huh? But it's possible, but I want to see how you do it in order to convince my heart. It's very it is verbally narrated in the Quran in order to convince my heart. Very famous, everybody knows. لِيَطْمَئِنَّ قَلْبِي. I believe in it, but just to have satisfaction within myself. And God gives him an answer and shows him an example in the world. Look at this, how I am doing. That is another subject. So we have to understand that Abraham is you and represents your true nature. So you benefit from it. Let's not really pass on to the second verse. We will study something again. Example from Abraham. We'll continue. I love this Abraham. Abraham is the father of everybody, every believer. So he's the respected man. I think he deserves to be respected as a respected person. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka anta al-'alim al-hakim. Wa akhiru da'wahum alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin bi hurmati sirri surah. Thank you.